Welcome. Welcome to freedom in your body, in your mind, in your reactivity, in your pain. Can we find freedom in all of that? And how that cormorant, that bird, how freedom lives in them, I'm guessing, is like, oh, I am free to fly away when this annoying human is way too close to me in this morning. Free as a bird is a common expression in English. So I'm going to actually turn my phone around. I'm not sure what you can see. I'll find out later. Yeah, so bringing presence to our own body, our own breath. Noticing our senses. There's freedom in noticing our senses and noticing how, as human beings, the senses that we prioritize, which you can see in our language, our visual acuity is pretty darn good during the day, as long as we're not looking directly at the sun. So as a human that can see fairly well without their glasses, oftentimes vision is how I find a sense of freedom. And right now I'm turning around out of the sun and feeling the freedom of being able to look across like wide open spaces. Feeling that in my body. I don't know where you are right now, and if you can imagine being able to see freedom, being able to see wide open spaces. Try not to go into specifics of, seeing people that can choose whether to have more than one baby or not, or freedom to wear what you choose is another freedom. Stay with yourself. How is it in your body when you can see freedom? I think that's why I often like places with nice views, or I like it when everything's covered with snow. And my eyes have the freedom to to see everything as one. And how is it for you? And notice also how the English language, I think probably all languages, because human beings have such great visual acuity during the day, that very much defines their sense of freedom by what they see. So when we meditate, feel free to close your eyes if there's a whole lot of clutter. Excuse me, if there's a whole lot of things distracting you. And we want this for all beings, the freedom to see wide open spaces. In NVC is giraffe. I don't know if you know that metaphor or not, the ability to see from a high vantage point. And you're much more likely to be able to understand other people's sense of freedom from a wide vantage point if we're only looking at the causes and conditions that created us in this moment. Our vision, our ability to understand, to see another person's point of view, to envision a future, is limited if we have a small vantage point. And one important thing is that we don't have to understand their vantage point to know that they have one. We don't have to spend all this time kind of empathizing with people that may or may not want to be empathized with. You could use an example of our leaders in the world, how many of them don't have a vision of a wide vantage point. And we can wish that for them. My vision of the world is, if all world leaders could visualize one world and see how they're part of it, how they're a part of creating it, that it would make a better world. And I can't control that. And actually wanting to control that is my definition of no freedom. And I see how I can control freedom in my body, freedom in my reactivity. Viktor Frankl is often credited with a quote that sounds something like, between the stimulus and the response there is a pause, and in that pause your freedom lies. That, actually, he did not say that. Kazuhaga, if you're a fan of his, he did a lot of research on this. He's sort of a freak about acknowledging other people. And I think you all get the idea. I think that if he would definitely endorse that quote, I believe. And stay with how freedom is for you. How do you see it? How do you sense into it? So you probably can't see this heron way, way up in the sky. It's a little dot that just flew by, if you can see something besides my knees. We have this expression, free as a bird. So I want you to include other species. How do we impinge on their freedom by our propensity to see and lighting the entire world with night lights gives us a sense of safety and or some other needs, a sense of freedom to move around at night. And it has a profound effect on other creatures in the world. So many creatures in the world are negatively impacted by our human beings in general wanting lights on at night. Notice what that feels like in your body when you acknowledge that, or if you can see that. Maybe you're coming up with a but. And you have the freedom to feel that. Let yourself be with whatever it is in you. I'm going to hearing now because there's a pulse beat that I'm getting from the sound of my paddle. There's distant traffic sounds as well. I'm very, very close, right on the edge of Baltimore City. So there's going to be traffic sounds here. And I'm focusing now on the birds. I just heard a duck. You probably didn't hear that. But you may hear the sound of my paddles, the sound of the water dripping. Notice I'm slowing down my paddling when I noticed it was faster than my breath. Can you hear your breath? You don't have to time it to mine. And can you hear it? You might hear a lot of other sounds. Maybe it's nighttime for you and you can hear people cooking in the other apartment. So I have the freedom to kind of leave awareness of my world and imagine there's all these other people all over the world that I'm beginning my day, they're all ending their day. they're all hearing different sounds. Stay with that back and forth. What are the sounds that we associate with freedom? There's an expression in English, let freedom ring. And again, that is the sound of the bell, for me, does have an association with freedom. And not because of a political idea. It has to do with my internal experience in the world. How I can slow down and listen to the voices that are in my head. I think all humans have voices in their heads. Some are more cruel than others. One of its intentions is this meditation is to bring a little more compassion to the voices in your head, in my head. So I welcome you to mute yourself if you're not already. And I welcome you to listen to whatever you can. Notice when it's outside of you, like the sound of me paddling. Notice when it's inside of you, the sound of you thinking. Try to give more of an observation to your awareness of your own thinking. Knowing that all that thinking points to beautiful needs. And you don't have to figure it out right now. It's best to start with it's best to start. You can start wherever you are. If you're starting with voices in your head, listen to them and encourage yourself to come back to an observational stance within yourself. Listen to the sound of freedom within yourself and then offer it to all beings in the world. May you have a sense of freedom when you hear a call for morning prayers. May that start to open you up to a more spacious way of being in the world. Maybe something beyond governments, but of course, there's always some sort of system that we organize ourselves with, and not to get too caught up in that. Even with living with my partner, there's a system of organization that we have that's based on freedom. You don't tell me what to do, I don't tell you what to do. And sometimes we misinterpret each other when it seems like our needs for freedom are colliding. And they rarely do. It's just our ideas of what freedom looks like that collide. So we've gone over hearing. And I want to bring hearing to all species because I hear a jet go by. I don't know if you can as well. And that also our propensity to make as much noise as we want and ignore other people, like the guy playing country music on his deck full blast yesterday as he worked. I mean, what an amazing freedom that he has to do that, or she has to do that. My amazing freedom to either say something or move my location. And then hearing how our making noise with airplanes, with lawnmowers, with weed whackers, with traffic, impacts other people, and it impacts all beings in the world. Those sounds that we make particularly ones in the ocean, particularly at nighttime, affect other beings, like bats, like dolphins, like whales. Sometimes we're not aware of the sounds that we're making that interrupt other creatures' way of hearing. Creatures that use echolocation can be really, really confusing for them. So, hoping that this meditation has opened our awareness, opened your awareness of what freedom means to you. Of course, there's this sense of touch, how touching each other and having consent, there's all kinds of issues around freedom with that. Smell, oof, sometimes there's really unpleasant odors. Taste, gosh, what a freedom that we have with being able to taste whatever food we want depending on where we live. So I'm really hoping that this practice of finding our own internal freedom, and I want to end with two beings that have made a huge influence on me, Nelson Mandela and Thich Nhat Hanh, because they sought freedom in themselves, and they're profoundly politically active as well. And I think their effectiveness in reaching other people was their ability to find this internal sense of freedom and bring their vision of what that might look like to other beings that share that vision. Thank you so much. Let me turn myself around to say goodbye. Yay! Oh, I don't know if you can see me or not. Maybe not. Here we go. I am being invited to ask Siri. So this is going like this for me. So may this practice benefit you and all beings in the world. Thank you. Let's see. I probably went over a lot. I'll try to end this recording maybe I didn't even start it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Stop
Thank you.
recording.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Stop recording.